recognizes that we have a quorum, so I'll call the meeting to order. So approval, the first order of business is let's approve the February 18th regular meeting minutes. They're in your package.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all those in favor of approving the February 18th regular meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. The next thing is the approval of the March 2nd, 2020. It wasn't a regular meeting, it should have been a special meeting. The special meeting, if you remember, we had a very short meeting just to talk about getting the east side open. Anybody want to read those minutes or there and want to approve those minutes, signify by saying aye? Or do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll submit that motion to approve those minutes.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
I was not here, so
All right, all those in favor of approving the March 2nd special meeting, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Those opposed, okay, the ayes pass, the minutes pass. I'll do Chip since Chip's not here. Basically, I think the runway taxi lights, apron, and all that, I think everything's in pretty good shape. They were out there Friday afternoon. We had someone from the electric company. I'm trying to think who we use. Mosley's.
Yeah.
Mosley's out there actually doing some stuff that Kyle couldn't do. I think everything's in good shape. I think we just spent $2,000 to bring our inventory up so that we don't have to. So before we've had to, we try to keep some things on inventory so that we don't have to stop and wait. But we
Like light bulbs?
like light bulbs and some circuit boards and things like that. We don't keep everything, but we keep a lot of stuff. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. Okay. Next item, number 6.
Can we go back to 5?
Yeah, I'm
Go
sorry.
back to B.
Okay,
That's the one I wanted to talk about.
All right.
Last time.
okay.
We, this was kind of a first for all of us, the way we did that. But this NOTAM says that we kept it open until 23:59 at night. So it's 11:59 at night. According to this NOTAM, our airport was closed. But there's nobody there monitoring at night. And if, I don't know what time they stop flying. They stop
Are you
$4.
talking about the time, those are UTC times,
Yeah.
so that's
Oh,
not
it's-
23:59 local. It's, ended up being 5 PM.
Well, set up here, hold on a second. Okay, I'll stand corrected on that.
So what does that mean? Tell me.
Greenwich
Yeah,
Mean Time.
it's
Okay,
six
so it is-
hours-
it is-
6 hours back.
Okay, okay.
We had one pilot that I've talked to, who was gonna be here, but he's not, who called from the west and said, hey, I'm calling. And he said, I started 30 minutes out and kept calling and calling and calling. He said, I'm 5 miles out. And somebody in the traffic pattern answers about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And says, I'm the only one in the pattern, come on in. So if we're gonna announce that, or we're gonna post and do a NOTAM that says you need to call, 15 minutes prior, then somebody's gotta be
Be there to
monitoring
answer
it full-time while this is going on.
So this was what day, Saturday or Sunday?
I don't know which day it was. And if he was here, he could tell you, but I don't know. But we've got to do a better job. It's no one's fault.
Yeah, no.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying, we've got to plan ahead. And if we're gonna have an individual that's gonna have a quote-unquote air show, we've got to do a better job of doing this, and this has got to be done, and I think it needs to be approved by this airport authority before it gets posted. Last year, one got posted that we
never
nothing
touched,
about.
yeah.
And I don't want to be an airport authority member when somebody calls me and says, hey, why is the airport closed? Didn't know it was. So we've got to do a better job of that.
We're gonna do an after-action report, and we'll that's on the minute, so so that's duly noted.
And I'm not saying anybody did it wrong.
No, I
It
know.
started wrong right here at this table.
No.
So we've got to fix that.
Okay,
And then we put a cell phone number in here that I'm assuming is Zach's cell phone number.
One was Zach's, one was mine.
Okay. So
We had multiple calls for that coordinated.
so we got 2 cell phone numbers in here? I only see one.
Should have been 2 unless the FAA cut out one.
436-8668.
Okay, that's our work phone, yep, that's our
Okay.
work cell.
So that's somebody's cell phone that was on site?
Yes, it stays on site at our field, yes.
Okay, because there's just one phone here, and I didn't know if that was Zach's, and Zach's flying is not going to do us much good. But the 1230 finally got answered by somebody that was in the traffic pattern. So we can do a much better
Yeah.
job than we did. And when I say we, I'm talking about the
Yeah, I
airport
understand.
authority.
And some lessons learned on that too, we realized our radio, ground-based radio wasn't reaching as good as it should, the one we had out there, so I'm gonna upgrade that.
Is that a handheld or the one on the antenna?
It's actually an aircraft radio, it's just on the ground, it didn't reach out, so we're gonna need to do a higher up antenna next year to make that work better.
Why don't you, well, we'll get, it's actually an agenda item, so we'll get to there, okay?
And I won't say, I thought y'all thought I was being ugly about it. I didn't think it was y'all's fault. The problem is right here. But we've got to fix that going forward. Because we don't want it to be confusing, and you call 15 minutes in advance and nobody answers, and say, well, I guess it's okay. And then next thing you know, there's one of these jets doing 200 knots,
Right
100
over
feet
the
off the
airport.
ground, and it's not okay.
Okay. Okay. So we'll bring that back up on item 8. Response to the COVID-19 virus. I mean, I think we've had several, Matt and I have had several conversations about this. I really wanted to kind of talk through. I've looked at what a couple of airports are doing, mostly Jack Edwards and then the airport in Montgomery. They're open. They're basically saying they're doing a deep clean once a week, and then basically doing the bathrooms, twice a day. But I mean, they're open. They said they got more activity than they've had before. Matt, what are y'all doing?
It's very similar. So I did a benchmarking of all the local airports. I spoke to the general manager of Bay Manhattan as well. We're cleaning 3 times a day, so cleaning all surfaces. We have our individuals that are handling paper money, wearing gloves.
Customer service people.
We
Okay.
also have, we've increased the cleaning, the services of cleaning for the bathrooms. So pretty much the same as everybody else is doing. We're not serving any food. Most places have gone to plastic, pre-wrapped food. We're just not serving food for the moment. And when Joe and I had the discussion, we're obviously, as a company, we have protocols that we're following. And I wanted to make sure that the airport authority, given the fact that we're meeting today, in the middle of the outbreak, had a voice in the management of the airport. It's my opinion that we keep the airport open unless we're given governance otherwise. We will take the safety precautions internally to ensure that the customers are as safe as can be in a public domain. But the conversation that we had was really, I wanted to hear your voice. Obviously, we're doing the administration of the flight services out of the FBO. Wanted to make sure that we got the opinion of the board or the authority.
Vince?
My opinion is business as usual at the airport, unless y'all decide that it's not in Continental's best interest from a safety standpoint.
And business is up. I mean, more people are using general aviation if they have the opportunity to actually.
My business is up.
Okay.
In aggregate, the aviation, the general aviation is up. If people have the means, or I'm not flying commercially today. I'm assuming that you aren't flying commercially. So general aviation is an attractive option if you have the means to do it. So until a regulatory body makes an announcement that suggests that we shouldn't continue to operate, we're planning to stay open.
No, I mean, that's what the aeronautics department said. I mean, that's what we're serving the public. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah, just as a voice of one, I would assume if Continental deems that they don't need to be open, y'all would close and tell us, and we'd issue a notum, but the airport would still be open. Everybody wants to fly in.
We wouldn't
no
let it
fuel
surf,
available,
yeah.
no services available.
And ultimately, you would make the call on closing the airport if the case were to be, but that would come from us.
Will you document your cleaning protocols?
Yeah, we'll send it out to the team here. I did want to have a conversation with the team and get any input that you've gotten from independent benchmarking. Joe, you said that you were gonna talk to an external, a third party. So if you had any advice, we will do the communication through our marketing department relative to being open. I'll pass that through this team so that there's no mixing of messages, but ultimately, we're open and we're taking precautions.
The city of Gulf Shores did send out a directive, the city of Fairhope have not sent out. I was hoping to get that, and we would use that as our
Shores did
benchmark.
not mention the airport.
Well, no, the one I got from, well, no, but they sent out to our employees, though. I mean, it was yeah.
Right.
Yeah, when,
Well, those two people are employees,
okay.
but they didn't, the
Mention-
terminals,
No, but they mentioned how they were clean and, shelter,
and they're doing limited service in all their public buildings like we're
Yeah.
doing. But they didn't mention the airports.
No, they did.
So I can send you the messaging that we're using if you'd like. It's pretty basic. It's very similar to the rest of the fixed-based operators on airfields, right? We're open and we're doing more things.
I think it's just good to have it on record and say that we looked into it or had a deep dive into it. Okay?
And we're monitoring it daily, as I'm sure everyone in the room is.
Got a lot of time to do that. Okay, number 7, Don, anything on that?
Well,
Well,
is it time? Yeah.
I think I was going to, yeah. Let's move to 7. Robbie, were you going to actually give a presentation on the
I
insurance?
can either that or just answer questions.
How would you rather do
Whichever
it?
you prefer.
Just a couple of basic questions. Robbie, what's the market like out there? Were you able to get some competitive bids?
Yeah, I did. We do that every year. On the general liability policy, we went to Scottsdale, RLI, National Union, One Beacon, and at the advice of our broker, he said our recommendation is to keep coverage with One Beacon. Not only were they somewhat lower, but in his review of the forms, he felt it was better verbiage for you to stay with them. So that's what we recommended. Then on the property side, we went to Employers Mutual, who has it now. We went to the Alabama Municipal Insurance Corporation, who also insures the city of Fairhope. We went to 2 brokers, Cooney Riker and Curtin, and we went to Sector, who is a broker, and Auto Owners, who is an insurance company. And ENC outshined them all as far as deductibles and the premium. Coverages essentially were the same, but the 2 areas of difference were the deductibles and the premium. Then the general liability policy, or the aviation liability policy, which is the smaller of the 3, we went to National Union, the Alabama Municipal Insurance Corporation, and Auto Owners and National Union. Came in at $1,500, and we faced a little more challenge there because most companies have a higher minimum premium than $1,500, but it was a little bit less than the premium last year, so we felt that would be a good recommendation.
Could I impose upon you to summarize that in a report that you can send to me, then I can disseminate that to the rest of the board? Your other alternative?
Yeah, I
Well-
can summarize what I just said and send you an email.
Yeah, please do. And I am noticing a $250 deductible on what policy? Help me. Oh, you got it there.
It's in there.
Um,
Don't casualty, I think.
I think it's casualty, yes. I'm looking at $250 deductible, and it is, help me out here, Mr. Robertson, I know it's here. There it is. $250 deductible, commercial property, yes. That's ridiculously low. Would you recommend a $5,000 or $10,000 deductible, or something that we could get some real savings out of this?
Yeah, let me double check that.
Page, I don't have a page number here, but it's
He's got-
commercial property coverage outline, second page.
Well, now, the commercial property proposal says the deductible is 5% when you hail with a $5,000 all repair. Where are you reading?
Well, I'll bring it to you.
Don't get too close.
Arms length.
Yeah, there's just an overview of what a deductible is. It is not the
All right,
actual
okay.
deductible.
I'm on the same page. As Vince said, I stand.
That just explains what it, okay.
Okay.
And to property and casualty, that's really that's $26,000 of the policy. 2 years ago, I actively shopped that, and they were, the numbers I got were in the $40,000, $38 to $40,000 range. They were somebody that we hadn't dealt with before. They were significantly higher than what
Okay.
what EMC could do.
Robbie, you said One Beacon had the better recommended wording. Was it still the cheapest plan?
They were the cheapest too. We were very, very close. That's why I wanted the broker to analyze the policy a little deeper, because we were tossing up which way we wanted to recommend.
They have a lot of my insurance. They always seem to have the best rate.
Well, yes, that's our objective also.
They're very competitive.
So, we have 4 million of direct liability. That's our basically our shield. But we were also indemnified by Continental Motors for just about everything else. So, that's a pretty big, I know we do this on a volunteer basis, but that's a pretty big layer of protection.
That's 4 million cumulative, right?
And then the enabling legislation, Josh, also gives us another shield, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. It gives us the immunity from negligence. And that's the authority, and the directors have immunity from negligence. And there was actually a somewhat recent Alabama Supreme Court case that even expanded that just a little bit to give some more protections. And I forget which airport authority that case dealt with, but it actually expanded a little bit on the negligence and said that it may even apply to all tort claims. So anyway, you've got to have the insurance, obviously, and that $4 million D&O coverage is good, but it's nice to have those statutory immunities as well.
Anything else?
I guess I would. Go ahead.
Any sublimits? We're not insuring any particular airplanes, are we?
No.
No, it's just the buildings, right?
Yes.
Right.
Robbie, do the insurance companies take those immunities into account when they're evaluating the policies for
Some-
an airport authority?
They try to, but every state's different,
Uh-huh.
and they write multiple states.
Okay.
So they'd always have to write a different policy for every state if they
Sure.
took them all into account.
Mhm.
So it's hard to do.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. It seems like that there may be a little bit less on the risk side, given those immunities, and I didn't know if that was part of the calculus or not part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it goes into it a little bit, because there are some caps based on what court it goes in and things of that nature.
Okay.
But having said that, the total all-in cost is $41,000. That's our largest annual cost a year. Isn't that right, Amy?
43.5, it's
Okay.
3,000
Yeah.
more than we budgeted.
3,000 more than we budgeted
8%
last
more
year.
than-
Yeah. And it's gone up, pretty much every year for the last 4 years. So I guess that's the world we live in.
Well, the aviation market for insurance has really hardened. It was a soft market for lots of years. It's not anymore, right, Robbie?
Well, the biggest area that you pay premium in is property.
Mhm.
And whether it's aviation or the library, the rate is the rate, and that market is getting harder.
Mhm.
Your aviation liability, which is just basically premises liability, is only $1,500.
Right.
And depending on what other types of coverage you might need, if you didn't have the agreement with Continental, yes, it would be a harder market to get and much more expensive.
All right.
And we've got, another $10 million of assets out there than we did when we started this 4 years ago, as far as runways and aprons and things like that.
Are the runways insured?
No, but I mean, the assets are. Yeah, the runways are not insured.
Right.
Okay? Anything else on the insurance review? All right.
You want a motion on that?
I think we've, on the past, since we budgeted for it, we buy insurance, we've not really,
Okay.
we do an insurance review.
Good with me.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8, review of the fly-in. I think this is kind of where, we've kind of had some of this conversation. I guess you and I decided, or you're going to do an after-action report
Correct.
and kind of maybe,
Lessons learned.
lessons learned, if you will. Maybe each year we'll get better.
Well, and on this one, which we had a very successful one, no jets touched, no other airplanes touched, everybody got in and out safely. 18 close to 18,000 gallons of fuel sold in those 3 days. We also had several normal customers come in, nocturnal coordination. One of the lessons learned for next year is I want to do some block times. If we get enough space in the NOTAM to block out certain closing times, talk with Zach on that. They're going to need to coordinate better on that, but just some things like that to make it easier for our normal customers and incoming traffic.
That will help a lot, because a lot of folks schedule around that.
Yeah. And the radio, just to
Upgrade on the
upgrade the
radio.
antenna for the radio. That was one thing we discovered with our ground unit outside. But overall, it was very good. They're already planning for next year, so that's good news.
Yeah, there was a lot of positive, aside from the noise, which I'm sure we got some of that, but there was a lot of positive comments in the community relative to the aircraft formation flights, things of that nature. I don't know the appetite for an official show. This was more training than it was a show. But
A lot of local shows.
Social media was very positive.
yeah, it was, and I'm still new enough to Continental and the airport that people don't know that I work there. And I have a lot of people in discussion actively relative to the jets flying. So I don't know if we capitalize on that next year and make it an actual show where some of the flying is done in an area that makes sense. The airport with all of that activity is probably not the best place to do it, to be perfectly frank. We put some barricades up. There was some communication relative to when I go up to a plane, but being close to an active running jet's probably not the best place for your young children, right? So I think as we do the coordination next year, we'll have some conversations about, do we make a small show out of it versus just a training exercise and then publicizing it if you want to get a little about flying. So we've got a bit of time to have that discussion.
I think it'd be great to publicize it next year and get all we can out of it.
And from a fuel sales perspective, that's pretty much 3/4 of the month's budget in a couple of days. So it's not bad from a pocketbook perspective.
Is that about the same as last year?
More.
It was
More
more,
than
there were
that.
more aircraft
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
year.
And we had
people
better
Pistons and
weather.
Stuff, so just coincidentally, we did have people fly in that wanted, who saw the NOTAM, who came just to watch, so we got, so actually our gas was up slightly, not that significant, but, so it was, like I said, overall it was good, several lessons learned, better coordination next year. Going to the presidential flying, I got word that the NetJets flying.
That just had been, I guess, canceled because of the coronavirus. I guess that was, but it was what, next weekend?
Yes, sir.
It's been canceled.
Sun Fun has also been postponed.
Yeah.
So relative to the fuel special, we've been publicizing fuel special out of the Fairhope Airport. That's been moved, the special hasn't changed, so we're still gonna publicize, although Sun and Fun is moved, we're still gonna honor our fuel special price, so get in the air, fly with us, type thing, so and for the remainder of this month and then the beginning of next month, we'll still be pushing for people to come by the airport, grab some cheaper fuel.
Maybe it's Sun Fun back to May the 5th.
May the 5th as of now.
Wow.
I bet they change it.
I think it depends on how well we can pay.
That's a pretty big deal too, so there's a lot of change.
Okay.
So we will do the after-action review on the show. I would be interested in getting the feedback, if you care to share the gentleman's name, or if he cares to comment relative to his experience.
I would.
I'd love to have it, good feedback from the team, so we can better prepare something.
Did you run out of fuel?
No, we had fuel trucks actually come each day. We were,
Okay.
and we coordinated well ahead of time and had it all.
Do you happen to know just what volume of Jet A you pumped?
18,000,
Okay.
We pumped.
specific to that, so we did a little more than that, but specific to those jets was 18,000.
Yeah, okay, good.
Which is about $4,000 to $6,000 more than we projected in the show. So, pretty hefty.
Any more discussion on the flying?
Wait, 18,000 gallons or dollars? Not dollars.
Yeah.
Gallons, yeah, sure. No, I'm done.
I put you on the spot. I know we hadn't done much with the 62 acres. I just carried it through.
No, I don't have a report to give. No report. And I'm still waiting, hopefully, for Lawson, help me, Lawson.
Lee.
Thank you.
Oh, well.
I know Lance Lawson. And I don't know what he's gonna do. You know, he told us a couple of months ago that he had somebody interested. He keeps wanting to have lunch with me or breakfast or a cup of coffee, but it never happens.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Update on the updated new nominations for the advisory board, Will?
We've got one gentleman, and I forgot to bring his resume with me, that has applied, and he looks good. I don't know about the aviation experience. I won't talk to him.
Damien is it Damien that applied? We had, I sent you,
With Universal Technologies in Foley.
no,
No, Damien
Damien, I don't know what's Damien's last name.
Field.
I sent you an email about Damien.
Yeah.
And he does want, I'm not sure what the protocol is as far as getting him, but I'd like to have him on the, you know.
I believe, I could check, but I believe I requested his resume, and I don't know that I have it yet.
Okay.
We
I,
need to reach out to him.
reach out for him and tell him that we, you know, that we'd like for him to, if we get us a resume, that would be great, okay? Very extensive, okay? Attorney's report, Josh?
Sure. Acceptance of recovery for the south side fence repair. Like I indicated in the email, we have an offer of $3,500 to settle the claim for the fence repair. That will cover the entirety of the fence repair, which was $2,500, and also cover our court costs and attorney's fees. So fortunately, the airport's in the same position and is going to fully recoup that. That's contingent on a motion to approve that by the board. And I don't have the actual release. Of course, the settlement will require a release of this particular person who ran over the gate. But if the board is inclined, I would request a motion to accept the settlement, subject to my review and approval of the release, just to make sure it's satisfactory. But again, I can't imagine it won't be. I mean, it's going to be a very straightforward, simple release in exchange for the settlement plans.
I so move.
Give a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting the proposal that's presented by Josh, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
I
Josh,
would have
thank you.
bet good money he didn't have insurance.
I would have too. I'm glad you're the one who suggested
Suggested.
filing the suit. I mean, I never would have thought.
Yeah.
I would have
Or at
thought
least
he was in jail.
Yeah.
It had an expired license and expired tag.
And was a known, he had issues.
Yes, yes, you did.
Okay.
But anyway, no, that's great. So, yeah, the entirety of the fence repair is gonna be recouped, so that's good.
Good.
Speaking of insurance, let me drop back to Mr. Roberts' discussion. It looks like the coverage effective date is
The
now.
13th.
So do we have to vote on that, to accept that now? Did you say we want to have a review?
Now, what,
Don't we have to vote to accept his offer?
I didn't think we did. I thought since we was in the budget and we've had insurance before, that we just had
But
accepted
didn't it exceed the budget by
by
a little bit?
$3,000.
I think it might be a good idea to,
Let's look, and I'll have I wanted to have, and Robbie had to go, Robbie does the insurance for Alberta, so he had that's where he went. I mean, he just didn't just rush off, but, what we need to do is have it later in the month, so that we can surely have, this was, we need to have it like, move it, we need to have it like on the 25th of every, of March, so we can have a chance to actually not have to do this under like, whatever, but
Well, I agree, but
okay.
we're not going to have any coverage unless we accept it.
No, yeah, okay.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, I think I've already accepted it.
Okay, well then, you let me know.
I mean, I haven't signed anything, but electronically, I told Robbie, yeah, we can't be uninsured for the weekend.
Okay, very good.
Since it's a little over our budget, I make a motion, we accept the insurance proposal as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, sorry about jumping back.
That's fine.
On the agenda.
in Part B, I do not have any update on any further negotiations with tenants on these.
And Chip and I have not gotten together yet.
Kel called me,
Both been too busy.
Kel called me 2 weeks ago, a week ago, and just said that he's still on the fence. He said his business is doing well. He did use, he said, with the uncertainty, whatever, but he said he was still interested, but he wasn't willing to sign a hanger lease.
Chip and I will still be reaching out to those.
Okay.
He's probably had more time than me. I've been too busy, but we'll get that done for our next meeting.
Well, I'd appreciate that. And what's the name of the gentleman out there that has the painted, the Army P-51?
That was there?
Yeah.
Mr. Bob? I'll think of it. What his last
I was out there Saturday, and he has 3 airplanes.
He has a whole museum, several more.
He said he was,
Queen Air.
Sir?
Is he the guy that has also the Queen Air?
No, sir. He's got F-86, 2 P-51s.
he was interested, he was interested in moving forward. An older gentleman, give me his name and contact information. I'll follow up with him.
I just know his name, but I'll get exact.
Yeah,
You got the steerman?
he does have a steerman.
You got, there's an older gentleman out there that had a steerman.
That was his,
I was
that was,
glad my neighbor, he just came out there to help with the parachute rigging.
but this guy's got, like you said, 3 airplanes, and he's got a friend who had a couple airplanes, and they were thinking about, he said they were interested, yeah.
So that was your steerman on the ramp over the week.
The red one?
Yes, sir.
The red one? Very nice plane.
It's pretty, very pretty.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward, the Continental Aerospace Technology Report. I think the landscaping is something we need to do, but let's wait till we get through all this. I mean, let's just wait till this summer and we'll see how our money is and whatever. We'll do it when we need to, when we know we're further down the line. Does that make sense? And I just keep it on here so we'll do it. Update on disposal of the aircraft.
There's a couple gentlemen who've reached out. One seemed serious, was out there what day did they show? Monday, looking at how to get it apart and get it on a truck and get it hauled off.
Okay.
So hopefully, I asked him if he could get it off by end of the month.
That'd be positive.
Ben Montgomery had asked about it too. Is he the gentleman
Yes,
you're
he was-
referring
he
to?
was, he was,
Okay,
he was the serious one.
okay.
So hopefully that moves forward. They have been taking things off of it and prepped to dismantle.
That's the VTL Bonanza?
Yes, sir.
Okay, audit, I think we have 3 policies we haven't finished the audit on.
Correct. I need to get with David Shue on that.
Okay.
I didn't have-
But that's all but complete. I'm gonna take that off take that off for next month. And the replacement of the skylight's been done. We haven't been billed for it. I think we budgeted $6,000 and it came in at $1,600.
Yes.
Wow,
So that was,
So they did discuss a break.
I like that.
and we didn't do the striping, which we budgeted at $2,000, so that was 0. And then there was one more thing. The actual, I think we were gonna replace the skylight, the lights in the public safety hangar. I think we budgeted 4,000 for, and it came in at 2,500.
And also on that, we have Mammoth coming next week, to do
Okay.
some of our stuff.
So we're gonna share that, we're gonna share a lift to get the public safety stuff, so.
You guys have the lights,
Yeah, I mean, I've got an electrician who's just waiting.
the lights, the physical lights themselves, right?
He's ordered, I mean, he's been waiting,
There
yes.
was a bit of lead time when we did the.
Okay. I will email him tomorrow, tonight. Okay, anything else? Anything else, Continental? 13, review of the ultimate build-out. I think I sent y'all a copy of the ultimate build-out. I don't think we need to approve that. I think that we need to approve that as part of when we do the updated airport layout plan. But I think it's a pretty clever way to do it. I was surprised the number of additional hangars we could get. I mean, it was, 48 new hangars on that west side, which is a lot. Any questions on that? I can't.
I'm excited about that, big time.
Yeah, that's a nice number.
Mhm.
And,
Does this have the ones that those guys are building?
right here. Those are them.
Oh, okay,
Okay, then these are all ones that we have that are open to build.
okay.
So they've got 6 that they can build, that they're gonna build. I get these lengthy late night emails from Don Hanson, and we ordered the survey yesterday. Did you have any questions on this, the survey?
Do we have a copy of what Hank sent all of us last night here?
It's in your package.
No?
No.
Is that not?
Not what Hank sent, that Hank did send
This is
but
what
this
Hank
is-
gave us last month,
Yeah.
but Hank sent another one last night that's specific with lease lines and everything.
No, I didn't send it to you. No. What he was asking there for was what do we need to get surveyed?
Well, he also defined their lease lines on these 4 here,
Okay,
on the one he sent for our review, because he came out farther enough to the east where they would have their ramp in front of each of their hangars, and defined where their lease line would be so we could get square footage off of it. And that came from Hank last night, so if you ordered a survey.
well, I hadn't ordered it yet. We're just in the process. Hank's ordered
ordered
it.
it yesterday,
No, I didn't order it yesterday.
because it needs to be surveyed the way he
Yeah,
laid
yeah,
it
no,
out.
it'll-
There it is, there it is, right there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Hank's gonna, no, I haven't ordered. I've called Goodwin Mills and told them to be on standby to get that. Hank's coordinating all that with Stewart.
Okay, for the record, the one he sent last night, I think looks great.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it too.
As far as what we actually surveyed, the 2,100 square feet or 21,000 square feet, I think it was.
Yeah, that's all.
20,710.
And it defined a 4-foot area behind the building,
Okay.
and I don't know how much on the side, and then ramp space on the front, which is what they need to lease up to the taxiway.
Okay.
And if we're gonna get that survey, we probably need to approve that.
Okay, all right, well, I don't, that's fine. Approve so we'll approve this plan as to what to get surveyed.
Well, actually, the only one that's got dimensions on it is the one he sent last
Okay.
night. This is just a layout.
This doesn't have all of them yet.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a general layout, but he put specific.
Okay.
He's got the north-south coordinates and everything
Yeah,
else.
I saw it. How do you want to do that? You want to approve that? You don't have in your package.
I don't know if everybody's looked at it.
I have.
I looked at it in detail because he called me and asked me a question.
I didn't look at it in detail because I knew you would look at it in detail. I knew you were a lot better looker at it than I was. So if you're okay with
It
it,
looks very good,
Okay.
in my opinion.
It's simple.
Huh?
It's a lot simpler than it was before.
It's simpler, but the.
what about
third part-
what about the road?
Yeah, the road doesn't get.
Does the road, how does the road get there?
The one he's got there, it's a gravel road that's gonna wind up being the future taxiway.
Okay.
on
But
the
there's
one he sent us
wetlands
last
in
night.
between the road and the hangar.
how they gonna get, so how they gonna get the cars in there initially?
Still gotta do a road,
Okay.
and then we gotta do part of the taxiway that's on that road.
But we can do that as part of our capital improvement plan.
We might all print that out and approve that next month.
Don't you wanna,
I'm happy if we go ahead and order a survey for it.
Okay.
But we need to officially approve it after everybody's got it in front of them and reviewed.
okay, well, we will approve the ultimate build out, but I would like to go ahead and get the survey ordered based on Hank's plan this month,
Yeah.
okay?
Because the road's a tad different, and that's gonna be he said that will, when I asked him, I said, how you get there? He said that road will be the future taxiway, the one he's got coming into the front of their hangar now. So it's a tad different.
Yeah.
It's in the same place. The access is a tad different.
All right, so can we have a motion to approve again, the thing that we saw last night as far as using it as the basis for ordering the survey? Can we get a motion to approve that so we can get the survey ordered?
I have one question first. What about parking, car parking? Is that planned or somewhere else?
Most folks pull their plane out and park it in their hangar.
Mhm.
Okay.
On all our other
On
T
these kind
hangars,
of these,
except
okay.
for one or two on the very south end, or maybe 3 or 4.
Okay,
You don't have anywhere to park.
okay,
It's just too expensive.
right, okay.
But actually, this hash line on this master plan is what he sent last night with the defined details. He calls it the teacup handle right there.
Mhm.
And that's the access road coming in, which would be eventually the taxiway that does all of these. We're gonna put a railroad in behind.
So Vince, the proposed, in dark gray, the proposed access road is not gonna be built
It's a little different.
right away?
It will be, but he said right now it'd be this taxiway there,
Okay.
is the entrance to their 6 hangars until we get farther down the road.
Well, Hanson's gonna wanna know who's gonna pay for that road. And what's the answer to that?
Well, he volunteered to.
He's gonna build a rock road, he's gonna build a gravel road initially,
And then we
Right.
reimburse him.
and we'll reimburse him at
Okay.
some point in
All right,
time.
very good.
Not for, I mean, only for his,
Now, I haven't
Yeah.
talked to him yet. My understanding was he
Yeah, he agreed
to
with
put a
that.
gravel road in, and then when we got money back from the FAA, we would reimburse
but
him.
this gravel road is a $40,000 road, it's not a $400,000 road,
I understand. I've heard, and I think he's even got lower numbers than that.
okay? And then we can reimburse him for his portion, we're not gonna reimburse him for the whole 40,000, probably 20,000 of it.
Well,
Or whatever, we'll be fair.
Whatever proportional.
We'll be fair.
Yeah,
We'll be
right.
fair. So we've had that conversation with, so he's ready, we'll wait, we'll get the survey, we'll talk about it again next, but I get these emails, are we ready to sign up? I mean, he's ready to sign up.
Well, if we approve the, go
We'll
ahead.
prove it, yeah.
If the survey is done, does that put him in a forward motion program or?
I mean, our original agreement is when he's gone through all the things he said he wanted, the tech,
Yeah,
he's done the
geotech.
geotech, he's done the wetlands, and he's got the road figured out, then he's got all his risk in front of him, he's ready to sign,
Okay.
the lease. So we'll wait and approve, we've approved the lease, we'll wait and get the lease signed after we get the survey approved next month.
And I think if we were to approve what Hank sent us last night for review, then that can be put into a lease that we can approve next month.
Okay.
Along with the survey, because then everything, and then if there's something wrong with those numbers, then we don't have to approve that next month.
Okay, so
But I thought we approved the lease.
we've
subject-
approved the lease.
Yes.
Not the Exhibit A, though, without
Oh.
we don't have a survey.
And that's gonna be the exhibit.
Yeah.
This will be the
The
exhibit.
terms of the lease are done, we're just waiting on the survey to have the exact square footage and
Okay.
plug in the rent
Gotcha.
numbers.
And we'll collect a $10,000 fee from him, and then the escrow money at that point in time. Okay?
So I'd recommend 2 things. And before I put it in motion, here's what I'm talking about. One, we approve this as a master concept
Mhm.
for that end. And then 2, we take the information Hank sent us last night, specific to Don Hanson's lease, which has got the layout for
Okay.
the survey on it. And we proceed getting the survey to match that. And then if all of that works out next month, we can approve it with the lease as addendum A.
Sounds good.
Is there any way to prove it to, I know
I know.
he's
I know.
chomping at the bit to put something up. Is there any way to help him without being unrealistic?
I think that it'll work out about right. I don't think that Goodwin Mills is gonna drop what they're doing. He's just gonna be on their list of its
All
surveyed.
right, fair enough.
I mean, I think it'd be 2 weeks for his survey. I don't think that we're gonna end up holding him up.
All right, good.
It's not gonna be like we're gonna sit on it a
Yeah,
month. We're gonna be
we'll have it
2
done
weeks
by,
when we see it.
we'll have it done by and then he's still gotta get, he's just now getting engineering, he's got some work to do too.
Well, he knows, he's an engineer, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I wanna move him forward.
Yeah.
All right,
Y'all want that in one motion or two?
One.
one.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the master concept for the southwest end for box hangers / T hangers. It was provided to us by our engineer of record last month. And we also approved the email that he sent out defining the leased area for Don Hanson's proposed box hangers. And we get that surveyed and added to the lease and try and get that approved at next month's meeting.
Second. You got all that?
You got some of it. We'll get it, we'll get it.
Come on, cuz.
That's why they're recorded. All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Said aye.
Any opposed? Okay, with motion carries. All right, Amy, treasurer's report.
By the way, that's listed in on here as the ultimate build out. That's the first thing.
That's the first thing.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so on the revenue side, we're slightly, we're quite a bit below plan year-to-date, but end of year, it looks almost right on track for revenue. I don't see anything alarming or exciting in that side. On the expense side, we're also quite a bit under the plan. So next month, I'll show the increase on the insurance in the projection, but I think we can cover that with the savings on the interest from what was budgeted.
Yep.
And even if we end up using the maintenance savings Joe mentioned for something else, I think,
What is the interest, Amy?
that's that on the.
On the bond issue.
Oh, okay.
So I
And-
think I must have planned it
She
like
just,
the
I
same
think
way
you,
instead
since
of-
we paid some down, then it's
Yeah.
less.
Okay.
After you
Less
pay the
principal.
200,000, yeah.
Okay, good.
So,
Okay. And something, if you look at attorney fees, they're above budget, but in that is Thomas Longino's $8,000 fee.
right, and so I had budgeted that really under professional
Yep,
services,
yep.
so those.
So
are
they're a wash
a
together,
wash,
yeah.
So expense-wise, we're okay. On the revenue, I'm still showing, again, like 20,000 for the east side hangars. So if we don't get that, that's really the only risk, I think, overall.
Well, we're gonna get 13,000.
Okay?
We may not get 20,000, we're gonna get 13,000.
Okay.
And you've still got what you had originally projected in.
Yes,
in the budget.
yep, I haven't
You
taken
haven't
the time.
adjusted the budget.
So we're almost halfway through, I guess. March will be halfway through the fiscal year, so we may want to reduce the projection depending on what people say. And then just on the bank account balances, we did transfer 20,000 over to cover the FAA grant
PNC grant.
account. So, and we don't really budget that as an operational expense because it's with the, it's kind of a capital expenditure. So just, again, our bank account, our operating account is lower than it was this time last year. So we're trying to build up to pay that $200,000 principal payment, so trying to just
The
make sure.
20,000 related to the east side construction, right?
It was $150,000 for the $3.4 million, and we didn't have that much in there, so we had to transfer that over.
Amy, you do such a good job of presenting this. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to discuss the financial model? We didn't put it in
Oh.
there. Yeah, we didn't put it in there, but we talked about, the hangars. I mean, one of the things that we
Yeah.
were gonna look into, I think there's some, Amy I think she sent you a projection for the to maybe us building some hangars.
Right.
A group of 10 hangars with, we were looking for final cost numbers, I think some concrete pavement.
I've gotten a lot of that stuff to Chip, and we're gonna sit down and put it together, and again, we just haven't had time.
Okay.
We'll have that done for next month.
Okay. So the interest rates are, are in our favor. I think we favored 3.5%. We certainly could do it for 2.5% now. Yeah, I mean, that's, and then I think, don't we want to use a 10 hanger configuration since that's what's on here, use that instead of an 8? I mean, I think
Yeah, it's about the same thing. I got two budgets.
Okay.
For something else, but they fit to this perfect one. They're both 10 units.
okay.
And one's got 48-foot doors, and one's got 45-foot doors. For an airport authority, we need to do 45-foot doors, not 48.
I think we go through the exercise to do it, to tell, there's a lot of rumblings whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I think if we had the numbers,
We'll get a total number.
yeah, whether it's a great idea or a good idea or a bad idea, we would know from that point in
I
time.
think it's gonna be a great idea, but we'll have the total number.
All right.
And then
I'd
we'll
like to
plug
talk
it
to
in our
Continental.
model. I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask Continental, the boys at Continental, if you guys could see if the waiting list for hangars, call those people, see if any of them are still serious.
After our last meeting,
Yeah.
I talked to over half of them, and all of them are still plane owners wanting a hangar.
Okay.
I'll continue the list, but so far, at 100%, they want.
That's good news. So if you could produce a current list, if you will,
Yes, sir.
that'd be great.
So I'm working from home for a while, so once you have it, we can maybe put together.
You're not going to Mobile? Probably a lot of good ideas.
And you can put that in there for your master plan.
I'll put this
Okay,
picture in, yeah, I'll show you
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I can change it to do multiples of, I think now it starts at 12. But I
It
can
looks
show
great.
10, 20, 30. all these.
Those are pretty much relative, and I got a price on a box hanger for a guy a few years back, and he wanted the 10,000 and then he wanted the 12,000. And of course, the bigger it got, it went down a little bit, it's like $1 a square foot, which is $12,000. But it's not a significant change, whether it's 10
Okay.
or 12.
How about that concrete pad? How much, do you have a sense how much that'll be in front of the,
No, I got it written out the office and I gave it to Chip, but I don't remember what it was.
that's a little scary.
Yeah, it's a lot of dollars, but it's not as much as you think, really.
Okay. Does it have to be concrete? I guess it does have to be, don't we?
It needs to be, yeah.
Okay.
And we figured 5-inch slab.
Do we put water? Do we have to have water?
We're plugging numbers for water and sewer.
Really?
And of course, we gotta have electricity, because if you give the option there, you
Yeah.
can blank it out, and you don't have to put it in, but if we get it there, or have the opportunity to get it there, we'll have a price for it anyway. You don't have to have it, but you're a long ways from a restroom
Yeah.
down there on the side.
No, Don doesn't have sewer in his.
He's talking about putting in a septic tank,
Okay.
which works probably.
Yeah, and then
Would that work for you?
one of our one of our T hangers, has a restroom on one.
Yeah.
None of the others do, but.
Yeah, but they're tied into the grinder pump, and it's, I mean, yeah.
But a septic system work on that.
We spent a lot of time and effort getting that other septic tank. Okay. All right, so the next month or so, we can get that, and I'll help if you need help.
We'll have that done before we meet next month.
Okay.
And everybody be able to see it before we meet.
We have government grants over $750,000 have to have what they call a single audit grant, single audit. Warren Avid is the city's auditor, is our auditor too. And so we've been, really for the last 3 months, we had to document everything we did as far as the 2018 grant, and we finished the process. There are going to be 3 findings. One of the findings is the way we handle the retainage. There was a significant amount of retainage on the grant, almost $350,000. They wanted us to show that as an accrual at the end of September 30th. We did not show as accrual because we not paid it. That was a final that did match up to the general ledger. Another finding was a date that we actually dated one of the requests that we sent to the FAA, or not requests, but one of the FAA audits this too. So one of the dates was the date when we started the grant, not the date when we received the funds. That was a kind of a Volcker issue. And the other one was, if I can explain this, the grantee is the city of Fairhope. And so we get the money, and it's big money, like $1 million from the state. They send it to the city, it's made payable to the city of Fairhope. The city of Fairhope gets the money and then writes us a check that we deposited. So so we're supposed to pay our vendors within 14 days. And there were a couple of times that we paid them like 15 days and 16 days and whatever. And that was another finding. There's not much I can do about that. I mean, the city of Fairhope drags their feet, whatever, but, we learned a lot. These are not overwhelming issues, but they're things that we they're just findings on a grant administration. Okay.
On the retainage, they want that to be approved?
They wanted to show that even though we'd not received it, and we didn't get it really till December, they wanted to show it at year end as booked in our general ledger.
As a receivable?
Wasn't a payable, I guess. We do
Is it
payable.
payable?
Yeah.
You have to book it as receivable anyway.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense to me.
That's actually a punitive number that if they don't do their job, we don't give it to them.
I would agree too.
I don't think we have time to debate that with the IRS.
I'm not gonna argue that point. Any questions about that? We'll get, again, we're a footnoted entity, a single purpose entity of the city of Fairhope. When the city of Fairhope issues their audit, we're a pretty big footnote, 12-page footnote. You're welcome to read the footnote, and those three things will be in the footnote. I think probably Amy and I will probably be the only person that actually read the footnote.
You said it to me already.
What?
I always read stuff.
Okay, especially a footnote buried somewhere. All right, final thing.
But those are minor issues.
Those are minor issues. Minor issues. Refinancing the authority's $6,895,000 debt, which matures September of 2023, which is now priced at 2.19%. I'm not advocating this, but interest rates, the way that debt was priced originally was the 5-year Treasury plus 10 basis points. And the 5-year Treasury, when we did it in March of 2017, was 2.03% plus 10 basis points. And I don't know how we got to 218, but that's kind of where we were. And it was a negotiated deal, and Bank did a great job for us. We just solicited. The 5-year Treasury today, as of this afternoon, was 78 basis points. So there's some fluff in there. Even if we could get the same deal for Brian, I don't think we can, but if we could get even 50 basis points, they just added a 50 basis increment and refinance it for 7 years, that's a $50,000 or $60,000 a year savings of interest that we wouldn't have to pay. I'm not advocating, getting off the amortization schedule or anything like that. I'm just interested. I don't really want to go out and do we actually went out for a solicitation and went through a whole bid process, and we'll do that if the board wants to do that. But what I'd like to do is just go back to Brian and say, or maybe another bank and say, would you be interested in refinancing this and extending the maturity?
Makes sense.
Well, why don't we go back to where we have it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't agree to a 50 basis point on top of it, but hey, they got 10, get 20 this time, and don't go the full 7 years, go whatever our years are left. Our payment's still gonna go down.
Okay. And we can do that, and it's still be some fees. It'll probably be $15,000 or $20,000 in legal fees. But I mean, the savings are pretty significant.
Yeah.
Now, I would disagree. I would want to extend the maturity
Extend
7
it,
years.
yeah, 'cause then we have a longer.
Then we have a longer term, and we don't have to, it
We have to do
keeps me up
something.
at night about how,
Our money's gonna run out from the city.
Well, we can also take the opportunity
2 years.
we can take the opportunity of the city to maybe reaffirm this.
Okay.
Well,
They would have to.
Yeah.
Because they're on it.
And I don't, this is just, this was something Sunday night I thought of. I mean, but I'd like to explore it. I don't
But if
really,
we're at 78 basis points and 20 on that, we're still less than 1%. So that's
still at
a
1%.
50% reduction on $6.8 million with the interest.
it's $70,000 a
That's a
year.
lot of money.
1% of $7 million. Now that, if I was Greg, I would say, well, I split the difference with you. I'll give you, 140 or 150.
But then we might find another bank that.
We could,
If I was Greg, I'd say, yeah. I'll take
I'd say,
the
Greg, I think this is a good deal.
We have to make sure we get past, to that end, we'd have to make sure we're past those repayment.
Yeah,
penalty
there's some
years.
gotchas.
What is that penalty? What is that?
There's a 1% penalty for refinance before next year this time.
Is that what it is? I don't
Yeah.
remember off the top of my head.
So it'd be a one, yeah, it'd be, you'd have to
So the
refinance,
first year, we'd break even.
we'd break even.
But the other.
But if we went through them, they might wait.
If they would waive that if we went through them.
Oh, because it's their penalty.
Yes, their penalty. I think this isn't an actual rate. I mean, this is a tax-free rate. So we're talking about, their rate is really like 4%. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a better rate than it sounds like. I mean, it's not like we're just,
I think we ought to pursue it.
I
okay.
do too.
Plus the good faith effort we're making to build the hangars, which are gonna be dedicated to paying down the bond.
We got a positive story to tell.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, very good story. Did you say that was up 20 points since this morning?
It was 55 basis, the Fed, the 10-year treasury was up to, it was at 78 basis points and now it's 101. And the 5-year treasury was at 55 basis points at lunch and now it's at 78 basis points at lunch.
Just like toilet paper, you gotta be there when they open because it's gonna
Yes.
be gone in a hurry.
Well, yeah, but it has gone off the cliff in the last 2 weeks though.
Well, how fast can we act before these?
We
pop up again?
can't, we can't, we're not that good.
Well,
But I mean, it's gonna be down for a while. It's gonna be down for a while. All the liquidity that's out there, it'll be down for,
So if we got an offer that we wanted, what would be the steps? We have to go to the city?
or Bryant.
we have to go to Bryant.
I mean, if we went to Bryant and they said, and we were like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
sign up, then what happens?
I'd go to Karen and say, this is what we wanna do.
Get the rate locked in. and then
We get the
we
rate
have
locked
something
in,
approved.
and we close it, get Thomas Longino to redo the documents, and say, we will need the city, I would get the city council to reaffirm their 7-year commitment, or reaffirm their commitment.
You mean to make it 7 years
Yeah,
from
yeah.
now? Well,
But would we
with a lower
offer
interest
to
rate, they might be
give-
willing to do it.
Would we offer
Plus the
to
hangers.
make it, to reduce that 26,000 a month they're giving us?
Well,
And half if our interest goes in half?
I'm not gonna lead with that, but we would do that if they ask.
Okay.
I think what we're trying to do with the hangars that we want to build is where we want to reduce that. And I think Jack's on board with that.
Yeah.
He's big time on board.
Yeah, he is.
So
And
we
I-
really
But they
need to
would want some
negotiate
of
with
this
Bryant
too.
Bank, find out what our deal is.
Okay.
And then if we all agree to that deal, then we can get them to lock in the rate on that day and then
Yeah.
get city approval and then do the paperwork. Is
Um,
that right?
Mhm. It is, and the rate lock is good for 30 days, is that what they?
Well,
give us, or is
he
it-
actually does it like a week before, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, rates aren't gonna go, it's gonna be in a range, it's
Sure.
not gonna go jump up as much. Yes, sir.
Could we even talk about dedicating the savings to paying down the bond?
Oh, yeah, I think.
Instead of just putting it in our general
No,
ledger?
I think that's what the city, I think that would be what we'd have to agree to the
Plus
city
the
that,
hangar revenue. and-
instead of getting $320 a year, they would give us like $260 a year. I mean, that would be our selling,
Like someone said a minute ago, it's a good story.
yeah.
It's a good scenario.
And I think that's the way we sell it to the city, that we're
Or
trying.
they stay with it and we pay it off faster.
Now, the best thing is the city goes back to us and they say, well, all this money we've got, we'll refinance it for you at 1%.
Don't count on that.
I
City's
wouldn't stay
pretty flat.
awake on
Not
that
all
one.
of them are-
The city's pretty flush with cash.
They were.
I guess so. All right, anything else?
Website. The website is, a couple of meetings ago, we voted that I was gonna be in charge of finding a new website master. But I've held off because Ben Montgomery,
Ben and Abe.
Ben and Abe.
Ben and Abe, I am in the process of finalizing the suggestions we
Okay.
got from the board.
Those mountains are gone. Did you get those mountains out of there?
No, are they going already?
I think the mountains are gone.
I hadn't checked. But I'm finalizing and synthesizing everybody's suggestion, and Ben and Abe know each other.
Yeah.
So they're gonna work together.
Okay, good.
And I sent you
I
some.
don't think we need to spend money.
Yeah,
on
good.
somebody.
Okay, anything else?
You can have that up there.
All right, I'll adjourn the meeting, and we're gonna work towards getting a way to have a virtual meeting next month, if that works. Or can we, or maybe,
No, well, I mean. it
Unless the
depends.
governor does.
And this is something I've gotten from several clients. We're kind of on standby from the governor's office. I think the governor has the emergency authority to authorize a different type of meeting than in person. Right now, it's not authorized by the Open Meeting Act, but there is some authority in the governor to make that a reality. So I'm checking with the League of Municipalities every day just to kind of find out what's going on. They're pretty good about posting stuff on their website to keep people updated, because obviously this is an inquiry they get a lot, and so they want to broadcast to as many people as they can about what's going on. And so I'm hopeful, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that a virtual meeting could be a reality by next month, and I'll let y'all know as soon as.
and
as soon
I
as
didn't be a
do.
little pushy, but there were enough things on the agenda that we needed to have a meeting. You know, there's sometimes we can just, I mean, some of these things are, you know, administrative, we just need to know, but when there were 2 or 3 things that needed the board's attention, that really couldn't carry forward.
Can we do it by Skype? We only hear half of my babbling, and the rest of it just kind of fades off and gets fuzzy and comes back, right? That's the way it's working across the
What'd you
country.
vote? Is that a yes or a no?
All right, anything else?
Do you
Have
need
a
a
mo-
motion to?
We have a motion to adjourn. John, do you have a second?
I'll second that motion to adjourn.
All right,
All right.
motion, all those favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.